Hello guys, welcome back to another Android Studio tutorial. Today we are going to learn about how to create a recycler view with column titles. And here is the final product. So this recycler view contains three columns. First column will represent some country flags, second column country name, third column with country capital city. And here you can see some title for the columns. So this recycler view contains two layouts. One layout for the heading and another layout for the list. So now we are going to create a recycler view similar to this one. Start a new Android Studio project. So the first thing, we need to add the needed resources for the project. So here we have some country flags. So I copy all these images. Now open project, go to the drawable folder, paste it inside the drawable folder. Okay, now all the images are available inside the drawable folder. Now we need to add some string arrays inside the strings.xml. So open up strings.xml, and here I add two string arrays. First one is country name that contain country names, and second string array with name capital city and that contain the capital cities. Close this file. Now we need to put some dependencies inside the Gradle file. So open the Gradle script file, and here you need to add some dependencies. So I copy this one, paste it here, and we need to add dependency for the recycler view. So type it recycler view. Okay, now sync it. Okay, now the sync process finishes. Close this file. Now we need to add two layout files. First layout for the list and second layout for the head section. So right click the layout folder and create a new layout resource file. Okay, name it as list layout and click OK. Okay, now the layout is created. Go to the XML file. Okay, first here I am going to change the layout orientation into horizontal. So first change the layout orientation into horizontal. Now change the layout height into 70 dp. 70 dp. Now here we need to add an image view and two text views. So here I add an image view and two text views. Image view with ID flag ID and two text view. First text view for country name and second text view for corresponding capital city, ID country ID and capital ID. Okay, close this file. Now we need to create another layout file for the head section. So create another layout file and I name it as head layout. And click OK. Now go to the XML file. Here also first change the orientation into horizontal. Now change the layout height. Change the layout height into 70 dp. Okay, now here we need to add a background for this layout. So add a background, Android background, and select an image from the drawable folder. Okay, now here we add some background for the layout. Now here we need to add three text views. So here I add three text views. First one for the country title, second one for first one for flag title, second one country title, and third one capital title with ID, HID, H capital and H flag. Okay, close this file. Now go to activity main.xml. First I remove all these margins. delete all the margin and delete this text view. Now here we need to add a recycler view. So add a recycler view. Specify the width as match parent and height as wrap content. Now we need to specify an ID for this recycler view. So Android ID, and I name it as recycler view. Recycler view. Okay. Now we need to create some Java class files. So right click the package and create a new Java class, and I name it as list provider. List provider. And here declare some variables. Private int image ID. Image ID. Now we need two strings, private string name and capital. Okay, now we need to create getter and setter methods for these three variables. So select getter and setter methods and select all these variables. Okay, now we get getter and setter methods. Now we have to declare some constructor for this class. So create a constructor for this class, public list provider. And for this constructor we need three arguments, an integer and two strings. First one is image ID, second one is a string called name, and the last one is also a string capital. Now we have to call the setter methods from this constructor. So call the setter methods this dot set image ID and pass this argument image ID. Now call the second method set name. Now call the third method set capital and pass the argument capital. Okay, and close this file. Now we need to add another Java class file for the recycler adapter. So create another Java class and name it as recycler adapter. Recycler adapter, and click OK. Now extends recyclerview.adapter. Recyclerview.adapter, and here you need to implement some methods. You need to implement methods like on create view holder, on bind to view holder, and get item count. Okay, now we implement the methods. Now we need to add a view holder class. Okay, create a class public static class, and I name it as recycler view holder. Recycler view holder, and extends recyclerview.viewholder. Recyclerview.viewholder, and for this class we need to add a constructor. So add a constructor public recycler view holder, and we need some argument is an object of view class, and call the super class method super and pass the view argument. Okay, now here we need to declare two sets of variable. First set is for the list and second set is for the header. So these are the variables for list. So variables for list, and another set variables for head section. Variables for head section. Okay, for the list there is an image view and two text views. So declare some variables for image view. name it as list image. Now we need to declare two text views. Text view, first one is list name. Change it into list country, and another text view, name it into list capital. List capital. Okay. Now for the head section, we need three text views. So declare some text view variables with name, title, title flag, title name, title country, and last one is title capital. Okay. Now we need to declare some array list. So declare an array list here, and that hold objects of list provider, and I name it as array list, and initialize the array list here, new array list that contain objects of list provider. Okay. Now we need to add a constructor for this class called recycler adapter. So add a constructor recycler adapter, and with one argument is an object of array list that hold objects of list provider. Now we have to initialize that array list from this constructor. So this dot array list equal to array list. Okay. Now from the get item count method, here we have to return the number of objects available on the array list. So array list dot size. So now we need to initialize these variables. So first we are going to display the list. So we have to initialize variables for list. So first one is the image view. So list image equal to, and find it, typecast this one into image view. Now find it using the view argument, find the view by id, r dot id dot, that id is flag id. Now the text views, list country equal to, typecast it into text view. Now find view by id, r dot id dot, id is country id, and the last one is list capital. So copy this statement, change it into list capital, and here it is capital id. Okay. Now here we need to add some generics for this class. Here I am going to add an object of Recyclerview holder. So now we need to change the return type of these methods into an object of Recyclerview holder. And here for this argument, the first argument is an object of Recyclerview holder. Okay. Now here first we need to declare some variables for view class. Create a variable for view class. Now create a variable for Recyclerview holder. Name it as Recyclerview holder. Now initialize these variables. First initialize the view object. So I put some space between these methods. Okay. So here first we have to initialize these variables view equal to layout inflator dot from parent dot get context dot inflate, r dot layout dot list layout. Now the argument is parent and last argument is false. Okay, now we have to initialize the object of recycler view holder with this view variable. So recycler view holder equal to new recycler view holder and pass the view object. And finally, from here we need to return this object of recycler view holder. Okay, now go to the onBind view holder method. So first create an object of list provider, create variables for list provider. Now initialize these variables. List provider equal to array list of position. Sorry, this is wrong. It is not this like this one. Array list dot get. We have to get each objects from the array list and pass the position. Okay. Now we have to set values for the list. So holder dot list image dot set image resource, and we can get the data from the getter methods of that class. So list provider dot get image id. Now the text views, list country dot set text, list provider dot get name. Now the third variable, holder dot list capital dot set text, list provider dot get capital. Okay, so now we finish the coding for list on this adapter. So here there is some error. Yeah, here you need to add some semicolon. Okay, now we finish the adapter for list. Now go to main activity.java. Here we need to declare some variables. First declare a variable for recycler view. Name it as recycler view. Now declare some variables for recycler adapter. Recycler view.adapter. Name it as adapter. Now we need some variables for layout manager for the recycler view. So recycler view.layout manager. Name it as layout manager. Now here we need some string, an array list. Declare an array list that hold objects of list provider class and name it as array list, and initialize the array list here, new array list that hold objects of list provider. Now here we need some string arrays. Name it as name and another string array called capital. Okay, and now we need an integer array. So here I add an integer array that contain all the image resource IDs of images available inside the drawable folder. Okay, now we need to initialize these variables. First one is the recycler view. Recycler view, find it, typecast this one into recycler view. Now find it, find the view by id, r.id dot recycler view. Now initialize the layout manager, new linear layout manager, and pass the context as this. Now specify recycler view dot set has fixed size. Set the layout manager first, layout manager. Now recycler view dot set has fixed size into true. This will improve the performance. Now we have to initialize these string arrays. First one is name. We have to get the string arrays. So get resources dot get string array and use the id r dot array dot country name. Now get the second array, capital equal to get resources dot get string array r dot array dot capital city. Okay, Now add some for each loop here. So before that we need some variables. So declare some variables called count. Initialize that variables into 0. Now declare a string value here, string variable here, string name, and initialize these for each loop using this array called name. Okay, now inside this for each loop we have to create objects for the list provider class. So create object list provider, and we have to pass three arguments. First one is the image id, so image img it of count. Now second one is the string country name, it is available inside this variable name, and the last argument is the capital, so capital of count. Okay, now add each of these objects into the array list. So array list dot add and pass these objects list provider. And now we have to update the value of this variable count and increment the value by 1. Okay, now we can initialize the adapter. So adapter equal to new recycler adapter and pass the array list. Now we can set the adapter for the recycler view. So recyclerview dot set adapter and pass the adapter. So now we can test the application. So run the application, select a virtual device, okay, and here it is. Now the list is okay. So we have three columns, flag, country name, and capital city name. Now we are going to add headings for these columns. So go to the adapter class. First here I'm going to add some variables, private static final int, type list, type head equal to 0. Now declare another variable, private static final int, type list into 1. Okay, now you need to override one more methods. Get item view type. Okay, so if the value of this argument position is 0, we have to inflate the header. In all other cases we have to inflate the list. So here we have to check some condition. So if value of position is 0, we have to inflate the header layout. So if position equal to 0, we have to return type head. In all other cases we have to return type list. So there is no need of this return statement, delete it. Okay, now for this view holder class, here we need to add another variable. It's an integer, name it as view type. And for this constructor we need to add one more argument. It's an integer, I name it as view type. Okay, so here we need to check some condition. So if the value of this variable view type equal to type list, in that case we need to execute these variables. So I copy this one and paste it here. Okay, and delete these statements. Okay, and also we are going to update the variable value view type into 1. Okay, now the second condition, else if view type equal to type head. If view type equal to type head, now we need to initialize some other variables, these text views. So initialize the text views. So title flag equal to it is a text view, typecast this one into text view. View dot find view by id, r dot id dot h flag. Now the second text view, title country equal to, and I copy this statement. Okay, change this one into title country equal to, and here it is h country, and the last variable is title capital equal to, and change this one into h capital. Okay, and here we need to update the variable view type into 0. So view type equal to 0. Now go to the onCreateViewHolder method. Here we need to check two conditions. Here is the first condition, if view type equal to type head. This is the first condition. In that case, we have to inflate the header layout. So now the second condition, else if view type equal to type head. Sorry, this is not head, this is list. So in that case, we inflate the list. And here is the second condition, if view type equal to type head. In that case, we need to inflate the header layout. So I copy these same statements, and here change the layout into head layout. Okay, and here we need to add some return statement, return some null value. Okay, now we need to add something inside the onBindViewHolder method. Here also we need to check two conditions, and the first condition is if holder dot view type, the value of this variable view type equal to type list. This is the first condition. Now there is another condition, else if holder dot view type equal to type head. This is the second condition. Okay, in the first condition, we have to set values for the variables for list. So before there is an additional row, so we need to add one more count for the number of rows. So add a +1 here from the get item count method. Now I copy this one, remove these statements and put it here. So this is the list items. So there is an additional row is there, so we have to reduce one position from here. So for the first position we have to get 0, so I reduce 1 from here. Okay, so in the other case we have to set data for the head section. So holder dot title flag set to text. Okay, holder flag dot set text, and name it as flag. So this is the title for flag. Now the second title for the second column. So holder dot list title country dot set text country. This is the title for second column. Now the title for third column, holder dot title capital dot set text, and this is capital. Okay, so now we finished the coding inside the adapter. So now we can run the application, select a virtual device, and here it is. Now we have a recycler view with some column title, and here you can see the title for the columns. I hope you understand the concepts. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.